Okay, recording.
Great.
Hey.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
Hello. Yeah, welcome Julie to be our guest speaker today, and she will talk about the engagement for the business, about like a 3D engagement for your business. Yeah,
great.
I think you might speak better.
Sure. Well, why don't, first of all, my name is Julie Smithson, and nice to meet everybody here. I am the Chief Education and Learning Officer for MetaVRse and XR Ignite, and the producer of XR Collaboration. And I'm happy to be here and talk to you about engaging with 3D. For marketing and e-commerce. And I've got a bit of a presentation, so I'm just going to kick right into it and share my screen and get it up there so we can walk along this together. So I'm just going to hit present. Just give me a thumbs up if everybody can see my screen. Once it comes up.
Yes. Thumbs up.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm just going to move this out of the way here, lining up my screen for presentation. So thank you for joining. Today I'm going to talk about 3D digital branding for marketing and e-commerce. We're going to talk about gamification and the results, the rewards and the retention out of gamification. And later on, we're actually going to have a demo of our brand new MetaVRse 3D web engine with my partner, Alan Smithson, who's also joining here on the call. So I'll do a little bit more introduction on myself just in the industry and where I come from. Again, the Chief Education and Learning Officer, an interesting title that comes about when there's so much knowledge to be had right now. And that also led me to meet Dominique with XR Ignite and Hummingbird's Day productions. And it's great to be a part of the ecosystem leading the education and knowledge around this technology and how it can be used for both business and education purposes. I'm also part of the XR Bootcamp Advisory, building the skill sets needed for enterprise and the school for today and tomorrow, and an Educators in VR member. So proud to be a part of all of those associations through my MetaVRse family of XR Ignite and as well as XR for Business and XR for Learning podcasts that both Alan and I contribute to with the ecosystem, sharing our knowledge and helping people understand the applications of this technology. Our mission at MetaVRse is to democratize education by 2040, and through inspiring the next education, inspiring the education of the next generation to think and act like entrepreneurs in an economically, socially, and environmentally sustainable way. And we're going to do that through using the most advanced immersive technologies in the world. And we need to begin to do that today. So a little bit about the agenda that I'm going to run with over the next 2 hours. I've got a bit of obviously a presentation about engaging with 3D, and then we're going to have some Q&A, and Alan Smithson is going to present the MetaVRse engine, and then we'll discuss opportunities of brand engagement using 3D and Q&A discussion. So the learning goals today, just to recap, are going to be to learn how users will interact with 3D and increase online conversion rates with 3D, the engagement times and gamification, and the supporting tools and terms and platforms for 3D, and how it could be used for your brand. So today, education and business today, COVID has forced us apart, but technology makes it possible for us to learn and interact with one another while remaining physically distant. And that was quoted by our XR Collaboration initiative with some coalition partners. I'll speak to that in just a moment, but let's get the definitions out of the way. I always like to start with what the definitions are of immersive technologies, and that ranges everything from your call today using Zoom through 2D technology through our screens. That is a part of immersive technology connection, digital connections that we're using. But there's also augmented reality, where we use our devices to project digital layers into our real world. And we also have virtual reality, where you put the headset on and you're completely immersed in 360. So using those technologies of 360, we can also use 360 video and full out interactions. And that leads again to more mixed realities using headsets, where you have the real world around you and you are immersed with these digital components in the way that you work and you learn. So essentially, we're going to be moving from pixels into voxels, and we're going to use this technology to start to engage in a three-dimensional way. So using this technology, there's 3 degrees of freedom and 6 degrees of freedom. Still, in a 360-degree capacity, we're now able to use these technologies to engage in experiences and objects and things that are put in front of us using digital means. So why 3D? 3D builds a connection with the consumer and the user. It really allows the user to dive deep into the actual object that is being sold, or the interaction of showcasing a place that you want them to see. The depth and immersion using these technologies allow us to walk around and zoom in, zoom out, and see the surroundings around us using this digital technology. We can then use it to interact with the user, and we'll do this through gamification. I'll speak to it a little bit later, and how we can reward them with points and satisfaction to want more. The 3D engages in teamwork and collaboration. It allows you to play games with other users. It can simulate the real thing. It can support business and education devices. So the processes and efficiencies and things that are happening within not only marketing or e-commerce then can also lead to the operation side of businesses or inside the classroom using devices. We can then engage with students, and we can engage with consumers, customers, employees, using this technology in a more immersive way. So it makes learning fun, it's attractive, and it sparks curiosity. We live in a 3D world, and we also have access to over 5 billion devices that are 3D enabled. So why XR and why now? Well, the pandemic was not obviously forecasted in many of our many of the plans in the last 6 months, but it has happened, and we are now sitting remote from our home. And mobile devices, computers and technology, we're already connected in more than ever. So we're already starting to see the use case of XR scoop up and the investments, and you'll start to see businesses start to invest more into this technology. Already we're starting to see 3D XR and XR return on investment for everything from training and education. We're starting to implement that on an enterprise level, but most importantly is through e-commerce and marketing, where we're starting to see people stay on websites of engagement 6 times longer on pages, looking at products and inspecting them more. They're able to zoom in, they're able to spin those objects around and engage with those items that are for sale, or those events or places in a more immersive way. So already they're starting to see decreases on product returns, and then moving into marketing, higher click-through rates at 25% higher, and the engagement times obviously then convert into sales, which is the ROI that businesses are looking for. So coming back into the 3D world, this is where we introduce XR collaboration. And XR collaboration really is that new reality of working together and using 3D to come together, communicate, build teamwork, thinking critically and collaboratively over projects. And this is a project that I worked closely with some companies like Deutsche Telekom, Qualcomm, Accenture, and AWE, the Area, XR Bootcamp, and the VRA and MetaVRse. We built out these resources to help people understand how to come together and collaborate and communicate online. It is the new reality, and you can discover more at xrcollaboration.com. There is a resource guide there of over 60 pages to help you understand how to collaborate in a 360-degree environment, as well as source over 70 different collaboration platforms that offer collaboration hosting technology for the purpose that you need it for. The directory allows you to go through what kind of hardware supports, the collaboration type, platforms, the different features you're looking for, and the industries itself. So these resources will allow you to engage with any of these platforms who provide this 360-degree environment. So XR collaboration really is the new reality. And how are we going to reach that new reality? Well, we have over 5 billion 3D enabled devices globally, everything from computers, tablets, to our smartphones. The mixed reality and virtual reality devices do play a part in this, but the majority of devices in the world right now, we already have access to. So this is where we start to use 3D to engage with our clients and our consumers, our employees, and our students. So who is already using 3D or 360 with their brand? Let's talk about some use cases to wrap your heads around the 360 space. The NBA is already using 360-degree cameras to give their clients and their fans a 360-degree view, a courtside. This is being used through virtual reality, and being able to transport that, that fan to courtside and give them that 360-degree 3D view of the game itself is really impactful. L'Oreal Beauty Lab is already using 3D to showcase their products in the store with store displays and more about their products. Sephora is also following that path with face filters using augmented reality. And IKEA is doing furniture placement in your home using just the device in your hand. Again, cosmetics are really being used a lot with the face filters, and it's where people are starting to understand that 3D effect that takes over with your device to give you a different perception and immersive engagement. Adidas is also doing face filters. Again, IKEA with a 3D visualization of what a kitchen could look like with their products. Toys R Us is using their branding to engage with not just the customers, but games for kids. IKEA, again, showcasing how to use their furniture using 3D, as simple as a video that could be placed in their space and engage with the product that they've purchased. Lowe's also offers visualization, and Boston Pizza offers visualization using 3D from their actual menus. And from there, there's different opportunities to engage in the customer who's sitting at the table in the restaurant. Westworld, a TV show that was produced in the last couple of years, used augmented reality to engage with their viewers, showcasing their brand Westworld, and gamified the program itself to engage with the characters and the storyline. And that was a great example of how brands were using this technology to keep the TV show going in the devices of everybody. That everybody has access to. So when you're using 3D, you need to, you have your customer who's interacting with that item now through the device. They're spinning it, they're zooming it. into it, and they're actually looking for easy access. And this is where we actually, MetaVRse did a project based on WebAR a few years ago, and that's where we learned a lot about the interactions of the users and how they wanted to be immersed in the products. Lowe's AR in-store navigation, using devices to walk you through the store to find what you're looking for, is as simple as a GPS path that could take you along the shelves and take you where you need to go. Morel is using VR and immersive experiences that project a 3D experience of walking over a bridge that immerses that user into feeling like they're really being there. And this is where we start to see that immersive behavior through 3D that engages the consumer into understanding more about the product and why their products are good for the purpose that they're selling them for. So again, VR Retail, North Face is trying to use VR and 3D engagement to show their products and where their products can be used by taking them on a virtual dog sled ride. So the creativity behind all of this is really interesting because it leads to stories. This is a great example of 19 Crimes using augmented reality. So you can see that 19 Crimes has used their wine bottles to tell a story using augmented reality. And this is where, you know, you can start to tell that story. I'm going to skip over to gamification. You know, the definition of gamification is the application of elements through game playing with point scoring and competition. Sometimes there's rules, but there's also rewards, and there's usually an activity that takes you to that reward. And this is where you know, everybody today is intrigued by games, online games like Fortnite and Minecraft and Roblox, especially the younger generation. But adults too are intrigued with gamification, and if they do something and there's a reward behind it, they're intrigued to learn more. And this is where the results of gamification using 3D with an interaction with the consumer, and they start to play with the consumer and reward the consumer. The consumer then makes that immersive connection that leads to sales and commitment to that brand. So this is where the ideas of coming up with creative impact of that connection to the consumer will be had in marketing teams. And how can immersive technologies build that gamification through 3D to build the relationship of the brand itself? So what's the first step in using 3D? Well, it's building in 3D, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to speak a little bit about the development engines that are out there. There's Unity, which is a very popular one, and I know Dominique's used it with Hummingbird's Day as well. You know, building a game engine for VR and AR. They've been around for a while, and they have a very high valuation and prominent place, just like Unreal Engine, which they use a more photorealistic and higher resolution in their graphics behind their engine. And they support games like Epic Games and really high resolution experiences that have more intense graphics. The next platform I'd like to talk about is our platform, and that's the brand new MetaVRse 3D engine, which enables WebAR and 3D on websites. So I'm really excited to be able to present this to you because we just launched, and I'm going to have Alan share with me in a little bit how we're going to use and how you can use our platform to create 3D. The differences between these engines are there's different things about all of them, but mainly MetaVRse is one that we host our platform on the web, and we are trying to reduce the development time of 3D from Unity's average of 6 to 12 weeks using our engine in a matter of 5 to 10 days. And bringing that accessibility of creating 3D with little to no code. The learning curve is very low, and being able to use 3D for all sorts of purposes from business to education. So coming back to how we build 3D, first of all, you need to start understanding the different 3D model formats. And the most common ones, which first and foremost, there's Apple, the native USDZ format, and then the other ones that follow through Android, OBJ, FBX, GLTF, STL, the Collada, and 3DS. So these formats all formulate the build of a 3D model of a particular object or scene. There's all sorts of purposes for 3D models, and you can buy these models in stores like CG Trader, Sketchfab, TurboSquid, in the Creative Market, and Hum3D. But first of all, you need to learn the different perspectives of these 3D assets, and we start with understanding the mesh around each object and the different perspective of every single piece of real estate, so to speak, on that object, and what kind of effect it gives. When you're dealing with objects like a shoe, there are different parts of the shoe, from the laces to the tongue to the front strips, the toe strips. And with our editor in MetaVRse, we have actually built out a configurator. And if you would like to take a screenshot right now or use your device and scan the QR code, you can actually try the shoe configurator yourself. And this is where you start to interact in 3D and change the colors and twist and turn that object to make it your own. And through our configurator, we've built that customization of allowing people to design their own and then publish that link into an object in which you can embed into a website or share in your social media channels. So we'll go through a little bit more of the purposes there. But as you can see, the 3D engagement is really interesting. You're able to design it however you want and customize the shoe configurator in multiple different ways. So I'd like to also ask if anybody, or if you can scan the code or go to that link. And I'd love for everybody just to take a couple of minutes and watch our MetaVRse Engine intro video, which I could try and play and see if it'll work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Can you hear it, Alan?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
No.
No, I couldn't.
It's not.
Yeah.
Just let it play.
Mm.
Great. Okay. So hopefully everybody could see that. So introducing our MetaVRse 3D engine for business and education. The engine allows anyone to become a creator, and it allows anybody to quickly build and deploy interactive 3D XR experiences on all platforms, browsers, and devices. So use purposes are marketing, commerce, education, and training. And, you know, again, you can import existing files from external sources, or we have an asset store. You can pull up your own assets, and we support multiple 3D objects and configurations that you can build into the solution that you're looking to build. It's all based on drag and drop selection sliders and customizable backgrounds and animations. So once you build it once, you can deploy it anywhere, and you can also repurpose those assets for different things. You preview before you publish. WebAR utilizes the AR Core and AR Kit. We do have a framework called OneApp that runs in the back end. Once you activate that on your device, you'll never have to activate it again, and you'll always have WebAR. That will pull up in literally seconds through our amazing rendering engine. Our code is all copy and paste code. We do use JavaScript for additional code, and you're able to publish it to iOS and Android apps. We're completely operating, OS, browser, and a device agnostic, and we're working towards building and supporting all of the VR and AR and MR devices that are coming into play in the markets. Again, no coding is required, and we're looking at building templates right now. We're seeing a 50% time savings in building 3D using our engine. And so no need to build from scratch. You can use any of the templates that we have in our store. And again, shareable on all of your platforms. And you can drop in these links into your websites and into your own experiences. You can build VR, AR, multiple different channels of marketing applications using 3D with our engine. Just highlighting a little bit about code snippets. They allow non-coding professionals like myself to build and edit with very little training. And there's actually a code snippet library within the asset store that you can use. And you can also add and edit existing JavaScript code directly into the editor if you've already got that. The big point here is the synchronous communication, and the communication between these 3D files and the XR experiences. It enables the facilitator mode of communication of this 3D, allows many experiences through additional context to even access these 3D items. And this is where the hardware will come into play, and to be able to access these 3D objects and be able to edit them in real time with others that are involved in the experiences at the same time. So the other big piece about this, and where it'll tie back into the engagement of 3D, is that you'll be able to build out analytics platforms of engagement in the back end to see who's engaging with your 3D experience, how long they're staying there, what they're creating, and develop those the interaction models of the consumers and build on their wants and needs of how they interact with the 3D objects and experiences. So again, just highlighting the slide that I did before and the reasons why 3D is so important, and seeing how already commerce and marketing are seeing the translation of dollars and more engagement and people staying on their pages. And it's because of 3D. It's because 3D is able to immerse the client, the consumer, in a much more immersive and emotional way that attracts the user to the brand itself. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to invite my partner in a couple of minutes, Alan Smithson. Once we've taken a few highlighted questions, we're going to move over to the demonstration of the MetaVRse engine and kind of go through that together with him. But before we do, maybe I'd love to open up the floor to any other questions before we move into the digging deep into 3D. Any questions at all? No,
No questions?
Yes. Any
No
questions?
questions?
Rick,
Hello.
Gonzalo, or
Hello,
Justin?
Gonzalo.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
Hi,
Wonderful.
Gonzalo.
Thank you very much for the exciting presentation. It's very how do I say challenging for you to build a new VR AR editor when there are so big other products like Unity and Unreal Engine, which are the leaders of the market. So it's very courageous from your side to go for that route, and I thank you for that. And you have all my support.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name, just to give you a little background, my name is Gonçalo Pratas. I'm Portuguese, but I live in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean in an island called Cape Verde. I don't know if you heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a technical consulting company there. It's a small company, but one of our big clients, which is not big, it's a small school, but for us is big because the market is very, very little. It's the Portuguese school there, and they have one problem, which is a geographic problem, which the students cannot have field trips, okay? Because you are the nearest museum is in Senegal, which is 45 minutes by plane, okay?
Wow.
So the idea is to build like a virtual museum with VR and then with AR, virtual museum with AR, and to do field trips with VR. Okay.
I love that idea. Just so you know, the Smithsonian has made a huge amount of their 3D scanned assets. So they use photogrammetry and they take 3D scans of bones and dinosaurs and artifacts, and they're all available for free on Smithsonian's website. So you can use those models and embed them into our site and share them with the students. So might be an option as well.
All right, that will be very nice. So I had some study about what to use. I'm still studying the platforms, and it's not easy to choose the right platform or the right path to go for it, because we are in early stages of this technology. So and for students, it's a little difficult to understand what will be the reaction when they see an environment that they're never seen. Okay, we did some yes.
I was going to ask, what kind of accessibility to devices do you have?
We can use any device that we want. We are studying if we want to go to 3DOF devices or 3DOF devices. We don't. I'm building the project right now, so I tested. Yes.
I would recommend that you, if you're going to buy VR devices for the school, I would recommend that you buy 6DOF devices like the Quest or the Pico Neo 2 or the HTC Focus. Maybe even buy one of each to test to see which one works the best for your school. But instead of buying 3DOF, all of the platforms are deprecating this. The Oculus Go is no longer, nobody wants that anymore. So you would be wasting your money.
Yeah, okay. No, but in reality, we wanted the students that remain seated because if
Yes,
you have a
yes.
6 dove, and we don't want, it's very hard for a teacher to control 50 or 20
There's
students
a
with a
seated
VR
mode.
headset.
Yeah, but there's a seated mode for every game, so they can sit in their chair and they can still have interactions. It's a big difference than not having interactions and not being able to move. So you can still sit and do lots of things.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think you'd be making a mistake buying the other one because
all right.
they're canceling all those programs. So
that's a good advice. And I will go for
Yeah,
it.
when the actual productions are not supporting moving forward, that's kind of
Samsung
that's
VR is gone.
Yeah.
Google Daydream is gone. The Google Cardboard platform is being deprecated. The Oculus Go is gone. So it was a very short-lived technology. Now we have the Oculus Quest.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Super lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice.
And then if you want to get really fancy, you can get one of these.
Is that Magic Leap still producing? I know they are firing a lot of people. Is that
they are still open. Yes, they laid off a lot of people, but they're refocusing. They took a very broad approach to the industry, and in doing that, you have to give them credit for the fact that they went big. They're like, we are going to make a new computing system for the world. Amazing. However, it's just a little bit too early. I think their timing was a bit early. They spent maybe too much money up front rather than make it last. And I guess they thought that maybe the investments would keep coming. But it's a different time. We have COVID now. Like it's a different time and place. So they went for it, and I think the technology that they've created and the teams that have gone through working at that company will go on to create the next generation of this whole industry. So I think it was great for the industry as a whole, because all of those people, those 1,000 people that just got laid off, they are really highly skilled, highly motivated, passionate people in this industry. And now they're available to all the startups to help grow the industry from a grassroots level.
Yeah, I saw one of the posts on Edwall. They said that, I know you guys are laid off. Welcome to our company.
Welcome to our company.
Yeah, which is really interesting.
We've had several meetings with Magic Leapers. They call themselves the ex-leapers.
Ex-leapers.
So if with your permission, everyone, I would love to just show you guys some demos, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah?
Please.
Okay, I'll share my screen here. There we go. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So just to start off here, this is the Smithsonian's website. It's si.edu/access. And here's where you can get all the, it's somewhere in this website. You'll have to find it. You'll have to do a search for it, but you can find 3D objects in here, and they're all free and you can download them. So that was one thing I wanted to show. Second thing I wanted to show is TurboSquid. So this is, Julie mentioned where to get 3D models. So this is one of the options. TurboSquid, you can type in, we'll type in Nike shoe, right? And then you have all the Nike shoes, right? So you could buy this and then you could, change it however you wanted to. So, so this one for these, this shoe, which you can change any color. And if you look carefully, it gives you the meshes, gives you, the decimations of the triangles here, different views. This is the texture file. So this is what a texture file looks like. And that's it. So down here it tells you, the license. So it's a standard license, editorial use only. You can't really use this image to sell Nike shoes because you don't own this rights. Then down here you've got the different formats it comes in. So when you download this, when you buy it, it comes in all these formats. So normally 3D is made in a number of different softwares, Cinema 4D, Maya, 3ds Max, and you see kind of these here. You've got V-Ray, 3ds Max, Cinema 4D, 3D Studio, but they all really push out to FBX, OBJs, and GLTFs at the end of the day. And now USDZ, which is Apple's own version of this. So you can look here and see what formats they're going to give you. Down here is the kind of specification. So how many polygons is it? And the polygons is the number of triangles. It's the number of these little vertices. See how there's like everyone's a little triangle? And so the fewer there are, the more blocky the edges are going to look. It's not going to look smooth. So the more triangles you have, the smoother the model looks. See, it's smoother and smoother. So for example, if you have a round sphere and you don't have a lot of polygons, it looks very blocky and very 8-bit kind of thing. So that's all down here. And then they talk about the textures, the materials, and we'll get into that in the editor in a second. I just want to show that. And over here is usually a bit more information about this. You know, what are the different colors and all that sort of thing. And the textures are important. These ones are 4K textures. So what that means is they're going to be, they actually comes as 2K as well. So you can have 2K textures and 4K textures. So what they've done is they've taken the texture map, which is what wraps around all of this, right? Your inside and your top and your, the top of your shoe and the laces and all of this. What goes in there, it can become in different textures. And why that's important is because, something like Unreal Engine, where you have unlimited, power in a computer, you can push as many textures as you want. You can push 16K textures. But if you're using mobile devices, maybe they're older devices, maybe, you have to run it on web, like our platform, then you want to run your textures really as efficient as possible to make it look as real. The object of the game here is to make it look as real as possible while still preserving bandwidth. Can you see the shoe here?
Yes.
All right. So this is the shoe demo I sent out to everybody. So you should have it on your phone. If not, you can go to engine.metaverse.com. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah. Actually, I just recorded a video
cool.
During Julie's presentation, and
Great.
I posted on LinkedIn and on other social media.
Okay.
Already. Yeah.
Awesome.
You
So
can
let's
take
go
a
back
look.
to this. So you can see this now. So we made this this configurator, and what it did was we broke up the bits of the shoe that you saw there. So we'll start with the logo. If I click the logo, oh, wait a second. You cannot see my screen. Okay, why not? Stand by. Oh, there it is. I see why. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. So grab the logo, and I can change it to any color I want. I like the lime green one. Right. So this gives the customers the ability to, to do this. I'm not going to show you this too much, but you get the point. You can change it. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can start to see. And, if you look really close, if we zoom really, really close, so our platform will let you stop wherever you want, but see how it starts to look a little fake here? You start to see kind of things. You can lock it so that the customers only get to zoom to here. We just left it open for this example so that you can really start to see the limitations of the technology. You can get right in, and you could actually make this look a lot more realistic as well by using different textures on the bottom. So there's ways and tricks. The whole idea is to make it look as real as possible. Now that is just a retail example, but here's like a more elaborate example of our solar system, right? So you've got this whole solar system here, all the planets circling around the sun. You can go right in and see any one of the planets, right? And I won't get too much into this, but check it out. You can get right in and see the planets. You notice that all the planets are, fairly high quality, and the sun in this particular thing is the only light source. So if you go, now we're on the dark side of the planet, right?
That's great.
So if I now play this and I give you a POV view, now you're going to see the planets rotating in the exact speed they go around the sun. Let's zoom in and we'll take a look.
Yeah.
Right? So now you're learning about things. Look at it. There's the Earth. You can start to learn about things. So let's click on Earth. See what's happening in Earth. So it's going to take me to the next scene. And the next scene is Earth. So I can learn about Earth. So it has an orbital period of 365 days. It's 12,000 kilometers in diameter. And if I hit play, you can start to see, the Earth spinning on its axis, right? With the sun cycle. And if I click here, I've got positions. So now this is the position of the Earth in relation to the other planets. And it's three-dimensional as well. You can get right in there.
noting that it was all made on our engine. So we
this is all made on
added,
engine.
and it was all designed on our engine with the animations and through the assets and
So
great creativity.
I just want to show you this thing here, because this is a humbling second. You know, when you realize how inconsequential all of human history comes from this little dot right here. This little dot compared to the sun. It's actually less than a pixel. Where is it? I can't even find it. There it is. That's us sitting right there compared to the sun. Right? So when you think about how it's humbling to realize how truly small the earth is, and yet all of human history and all of human life resides on that one speck in the sky. And you know, you want to see what's inside the earth? Check it out. Right? You can learn about anything. And this can be your products as well. You know, the configurator is one way, but you can have educational things about your products. And I just wanted to show that because I think it's really a cool example. And I'll put it into the chat for you guys.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Stop share for a second, chat. There you go. Now I'm going to share with the editor now and show you how to make things like this. So I showed you Turbo Squid, which was this one here. It's kind of more for professional things. If you were looking for, you know, automobiles or characters, animals, vehicles, you know, if you're doing a military simulation or something, there's, you know, planes and cockpits and all these things. And some of them are really quite elaborate, right? So this is something you would use in like an Unreal Engine, depending on how big it was. If you went down here and said, okay, so this whole cockpit is only 285,000 polygons. So not a huge file. So this actually would be able to import into our system, no problem. We typically max out on our system at about 1 million polys. So going over to Sketchfab, Sketchfab's a little bit different. If you notice, they still have, you know, professional things like PlayStation and furniture, but they also have fun things. They're kind of like the YouTube of 3D. So here's like some 3D ducks, right? And they have a 3D player built in so that they can sell the models, right? So they have this nice visualizer so you can actually go in there and see, oh yeah, cool, I want these 3D ducks, right? And they're $4, so you can buy some 3D ducks. You know, if you scroll down a little bit further, you've got some dice, and there's all sorts of cool stuff in here. And you can just do a search. There's you know, I think there's a billion things in here. Oh, look at this. It's a cool TIE fighter. Right? So you can download, oh, this one's free. So this one is, somebody has made this TIE fighter, and you can download it. So you click that. It gives you the OBJ, which is the object file, GLTF, and USDZ for if you're going to do it on Apple. So it already comes like that, so you can just download that. So that is Sketchfab. So those are the two marketplaces, and what we're doing is we're going to build those marketplaces right into our engine. So let me load a project here. Excuse me. I'm going to load the shoe, and I'm going to show you how it was built. Excuse me. While that's loading, I'm going to have a drink. So this is all running on web, and of course, Julie's on one part of our Wi-Fi, I'm on the other, and we're both on Zoom, and we're doing this. So, and as I say that, it didn't work. Okay, let's try this. Let's try it again here. There we go. I think it's because I had too many windows open. All right. So I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to download this TIE fighter, I think.
Can we ask questions while it's loading?
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Thank you. My name's Justin. I'm sorry I'm late to the game. I'm still catching up, but I'm really excited to see you share this. I'm also a teacher, and though I'm not sure I'm going to stay in education forever, this is really applicable. And when I saw you demonstrating the shoe and the planetary system, I was thinking about the interaction that you guys provide with people who have the equipment. Do your formats also support that? So if you wanted to manipulate the, you know, like turn the planet or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I sent you the link, so it's in the chat,
Yeah.
So here's two things that it does offer. And unfortunately, I don't have it ready for this demo, but it'll be ready next week. The ability to do one-to-many. So now if you're the student holding the phone on your end, and it can be any number of students, could be 1,000 students, they're seeing the experience. You as the teacher are speaking into it. They can hear your voice. They can see what you're doing, but they have full autonomy to explore. But they're on the one scene. So the main scene, you would say, okay, we're going to talk about the order of the planets, and feel free to explore as you go, as I talk about this. Then you would say, okay, now we're going to talk about Mercury, and you click Mercury, it opens up Mercury, and there you go.
But it's not tactile, right? It's still a 1D screen.
It is still a 1D screen. Yeah.
Okay. So would this be
2D.
Could you make this into a augmented experience?
You can. It's all AR enabled, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have it on your phone there, let me.
So to give you a perspective, last night we were in a school field near where we live, and Alan put the entire solar system in the field, and we could walk around it. But then we shrunk it down to just right in front of us, and we could, see it really small. But you can actually put it as big as you want using augmented reality.
You can scan this and get it on your phone.
Yeah, so.
And then there's an AR button.
Just open your phone to the camera, and it'll pick it up right up.
Yeah, if you point your phone at the camera, if you point your phone at the camera, or the camera at the QR code, it'll pick up a website, and then you tap it, and now it'll be there.
Okay.
Chrome or Safari, it doesn't matter, or Firefox or whatever.
So to answer your question about being tactile, one day it will be tactile once you're immersed in the virtual reality experience, and the system is built that way for you to interact with things. For now, you can just open it up and you're tapping and you're interacting with some of the prompts and that sort of thing. So I hope that answers your question.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's just maybe in the pace of the industry where we're heading right now. We're still maybe on the screen more.
Yes, but you got to go with where the market is. There's 5 billion devices that people already have, and yes, you can go buy 1 or 2 VR headsets for your school, but and maybe you can buy 20, maybe you can buy 200, but there's just no scale yet.
Yeah.
So, and this is the way we see this is if we can get people starting to look at how these things work, especially if teachers, you want to build a solar system demo. If you can start to figure out how to build it on something like this, where it's web-based. Our system already publishes out, like if you publish this, it publishes out the QR code, which will allow you to use your phone, web link, Android code, so you can embed it in your Android, iOS code, or X code, you can embed it in your iOS app, and web code, so you can embed it in your website. And then the VR and AR support is coming Q4 this year. So you'll be able to publish it directly, pull up a browser window in Quest, click a button, and now you're in the experience.
Did I hear correctly that you had like the X-Wing or something was made by someone else that's not part of your organization?
Yeah.
So this is it's a crowdsourced platform too. People can upload their own creations.
Yeah, of course. Here, watch. I'll show you. Here, let's do this. Why don't we do this? Oops. I don't want to save it. I want to load.
We built this so everybody could create.
Yeah, I'll show you. We'll just start a new project. Start a new project.
And it's all web AR.
Yeah.
It's all in web.
Yeah. So I'll import the TIE Fighter. I already downloaded it, so let's try it. It was having trouble loading. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So this is just when you start a blank project, this is your blank project, just so you didn't start with 0. So you can grab this, you can delete off the roughness, the ambient occlusion. So this is all the texture files. So on the right here, you have all your textures. Move this thing out of the way here. So this is all your information about this thing. So if you look now, whoops, I took all the textures off that thing, but I can still change it, right? I can go in here and I can change the color. Maybe I want it to be red, right? I can still change it. Maybe I want it to be, actually, you know what? I'm going to make it blue, but I'm going to make it opacity. I'm going to make it see-through a bit, right? So now it's a see-through thing, and maybe I'm going to change the metalness of it a bit here. Let's change it to more plasticky, right? More metal, more plasticky. Let's put it right there, and then maybe I'll change the roughness. I'll make it really kind of shiny, right?
So it's a higher level platform on top of conventional ones like Blender, Maya, all those.
Yeah, so you would export your Blender Maya things to build multiple, like to build a scene. So this would be, you know, you'd export this out of Maya into this with its animations, or you can animate it through this. So if this cube, so if I grab this cube and I look over here, if I click this, if there was animations in this cube, they would show up right here, and I could play the animation. Let's say if it was a, you know, so let's actually get rid of this. We'll delete this thing. We'll import the TIE Fighter and see if it works. TIE Fighter. So there's an MTL and an object file. So the object file is the OBJ, and the MTL is the, it's almost like instructions on where the textures go.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna import those. And so when you hit import, it gives you the option to import them and add a new folder. I'm gonna call it TIE Fighter start. Importing the object, uploading, converting it, download. Okay, so now when it's done, I hit close. I go down here to my assets. So there's two ways to do it. You can grab from here and see the TIE Fighter, or I can go into TIE Fighter here and see the TIE Fighter here. So down here will be where you were able to search Sketchfab, TurboSquid, all of that. All of this you'll be able to search here, and it will give you access to all of that without having to leave the platform. So you can buy models on the fly if you need them.
Wow.
Just makes creation a little easier.
If you had to rate the usability of this environment, what age group could just jump in, you think?
After next week, I would say, I don't know, maybe 10 years old.
After next week. Why
Yeah.
next
So
week?
the reason why next week is right now, if I threw you in here, you'd be like, I don't know what to do. Next week, we're having, there's a button going in up here, and you literally, everything you hover over has a little video that explains what the button does. So every button, if I hover over the world, it says the world does this, and here's how you interact with it, and here's how you do the skybox. So as I'm telling you right now, that will be just all automated. So right now, what a skybox is just basically a world. So we'll go here. We'll import the skybox. We're going to import desktop 3D HDRs, and they're also called HDRs, high definition renders sometimes.
Right.
So this one's a 16K background. So basically what it is a 360 photo. That's all it is, really.
Right.
I'm going to grab this cathedral here.
Just so you know, Alan, when you're talking about that, we can't see that screen that's on there. Yeah, we couldn't see it before, but just so you know, we couldn't see where it's the cathedral or anything like that. But that's okay. Keep going.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's see why I can't.
I think it's because it was a second screen that came onto your other screen.
Okay. All right, we'll have to figure out why that is. Thank you for that. Great. So can you see my screen now, though?
Yeah. Configure import. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to just drop that image back in there. And so now it's down here. So the skybox is, if I delete it, now there's nothing in the background. But I can go in and I could change the background to a different color, right? There's a bug, Julie. Mark that one. This one's supposed to be fixed by next week too. It's supposed to change the background, not the grid color. It's backwards. So you can turn off the grid here and on, but that one is not going to work. So what I want to do is I want to show the skybox, and I'm going to drop the cathedral in there, right here. And now I'm in the cathedral. And now I'm going to drop the TIE Fighter in the cathedral space. And there it is. There's your TIE Fighter.
Can I ask you, like, what's the limitation of the file size? Because as far as I know, that Earthwall is 100 MB. Yeah, the free version is 25 megs file upload. But you can upload multiple files. It's just 25 is the maximum per file. To put it in perspective, this TIE Fighter is, it's small. It's 171 KB, so it's tiny. But the shoe is probably maybe, all totaled, the shoe is probably, I'd have to check. But anyway, in the projects, you can actually click it. Yeah, I can click this TIE Fighter here, and I can go over here on the right-hand side, click I, and it says, so this is triangles, the number of polygons. Triangles is polygons, 13,000 polygons. And it's 397 KB is the whole file with the background of it. Or sorry, just this one, sorry, just the 3D model. So what I can do with this is I can now go here and I can start to change it. I can make it like, okay, I'm gonna make it gray. Make that one dark.
and I'm going to make it shiny. And I'm going to add some, whoa, I'm not sure what just happened there. Sorry about that. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to make it super metally, turn the roughness down, and I'm going to do the same on these outer things. There you go. Same on this one. So, and what I can do is I can actually copy this. I can go Apple copy and then paste. Oh, why did that not work? Huh. Copy. Paste. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to find out why that isn't working. Can you make a note of that, Julie? Also in here, so now I'm looking at the whole thing. Here, first of all, let me fix that because now it's just bugging me. Okay, now the interior of these things, now you got this kind of mirrored effect. Now, you can make all sorts of changes to this. Like I can go in deep. So where you find those is meshes, right? So each one of these is a mesh. So there's your root, that's everything. And then so if I want to change everything, I can click that button. Where is it? And I can go to materials here, groups. So in meshes, you've got all the different meshes. Every single piece of this machine that was built, and you would build that in the Maya. You know, there's the gun, for example. I can change that to red or whatever. Right? So I can go and really get in there. Then you have materials. And usually that will be like per material. So each section will be a group of materials, and you can, like window pane, you would make it see-through, you know, because it's window. And you could also, if you wanted to get crazy, you can make these windows see-through, right? Right here, by going opacity and getting rid of the opacity. So now they're see-through. And then you could actually put something inside this model in here, like a little hidden Easter egg, because size and scale doesn't really matter, right? So right now, if I zoom way out, if I grab this whole model, this thing here, I can actually now also change its scale. So I can call it 10, 10, 10. Now it's 10 times bigger. And you know, you can.
What's the scale, like a size mean? For example, 10. In Unity,
well, let's find out.
means 1 meter.
Yeah. So here, I'll show you when we publish it. So I'm going to publish, or actually, I'm not going to publish it. I'm going to preview it. So you can see this is what it's going to look like on the computer screen. There. So that's what 10 times means. Right?
Computer screen, you mean like the standard?
This is WYSIWYG. This is what you see is what you get. So when you hit publish, preview, this is what your customer is going to see. So here, we're going to shrink it back down because that's obviously too big. This one here. So we'll do 1, 1, 1. And now we'll preview it. And this is what it's going to look like to the customer. See, now it's in the boundaries. So, maybe
1 means like what's the kind of real world, like a measurement?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know that answer. I'll have to check. I don't know the answer to that question. Julie, can you write that down? What is the 1-to-1 world scale? I don't know. It's a good question. We'd have to drop it into AR to find out, to be honest.
Yeah, because I want to see, like, because 1 meter.
It's a good question.
Because when designing VR experience in Unity, you know that if you put a cylinder there, it's better for the interface to design like your arm, half arm or an arm in front of the person. So you won't feel overwhelmed by the interface.
Understood.
So yeah, so if I can know that, because I know in the future you are going to integrate with VR, right? So if I can know like, oh, what's the equivalent related to the real space, then the designer can better design like the interface. They can.
Perfect. Yeah, well, we'll find out. I will find out for you. Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. Thank you.
We will figure it out together. All right,
it's almost like we need a little measurement of, you know, real world scale.
I think it's in the next sprint because what we did in the sprint is add like a percentage button. When you go into like AR in Quick Look, for example, there's a little 100%, and then you can shrink it to 0 or whatever. So that we just kind of made this quick edits to this thing. I'm going to publish it now and show you the publishing features. So hit publish, hit publish here, and now if you want to scan that with your phone, It should work. I'm going to try it on my phone. Actually, I don't have my phone. So you want to try it, you should be able to get it on your phone right now. And I'll also drop it into the chat.
Yep.
Okay. And then if I open it in a new browser window, it's downloading because it's a fresh start. You download bars once, and then the circle one is loading. So now it's actually rendering the scene. And then there's your scene. It should work on your phone. And now, if I want to add AR, I would have to go in, I'll close this, go back into the editor, and I would have to add a button for AR. So I'm going to just show that in a different project for now. So, okay, we'll call it Thai. Save, load, yes. All right, so we'll just use the shoe, it's easiest. So this is where things get a little bit more complicated. Do I have everybody so far?
Yeah. The first scan though, it's still loading on my phone for some reason.
Where are you in the world?
In California.
Should be fine.
One quick question: Is it possible to download the scene hosted in my hosting provider?
What do you mean?
Download the JavaScript code and host it in my website, or it's
yes,
always in your cloud?
Of course. Yeah. So when you hit publish, you can host it here. So we give you an iframe code.
Yeah,
so
but
drop it right
it's
into your
always in your servers, right?
We host it unless you're a large corporation. Yeah, we do on-premises hosting if you're a corporate, but it's it requires 100 license minimum.
Okay, all right.
Yep. So we do all the hosting. It just makes it easier for everybody because it's just done. But it doesn't need to be, say, enginemetaverse.com. It can be whatever you want. It can be embedded into your website. For example, on our website, on our website, we actually have it in line with the website. So it's right here. And so up here, it says MetaVRse. It'll be like this logo in all of them in the free tier. And when you pay, you can remove that. So this one is running right from our website. Can you see it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Looks good. Yes.
Yeah.
I just put the solar system into my living room.
Cool. Right. So, and then this car was not easy to make. It was actually, there's a lot of work that's gone into this. Really, the work has to go into the models, right? So if the models aren't good, you're not going to get, if the models aren't good in this, you're not going to get a nice experience. But
Alan, can you show how the doors open?
Sure.
And remember, he's live. You guys can try this too. It's on our website. So you can play around and you can open the doors.
Yeah,
you can
it's
even
all
make
animated.
The car move. You can even make the car move and you can put it into AR as well.
Yeah, so we put a road on there. And you can also, turn it around. So the AR code, so this button here, this AR and scene, what that does is it takes you from AR into AR. So if I click it now on the web, it won't let me because it's only available on Android and iOS. So what that does on your phone, it lets you download this app once. It's called the One app. You download it once, and then it gives you the full AR experience. And every time you now go on a website with this, you don't have to download it anymore. It's just one time, one and done, and you never have to do it again. So it kind of runs in the background, and you just have the full capabilities of AR Kit and AR Core. And let me show you how that works quick. Can you see the editor again? I'm going to kill this because it's using my bandwidth. There we go. Can you see the editor again? Everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So right here, there's an AR button, and we call these HUD buttons. So up in here, you can make a HUD button right here. Add HUD. So you can grab the button, and over here, you have your ID for it and everything. So this is how you grab this ID to say, okay, well, this button has that ID. So you see how you can start to do things? So now you have a HUD button, and you can start to apply that, right? And it creates a square, and I don't know where it is. Hold on a second here. it creates a little square that you can drop an image in. So all this is just an image made on Photoshop and then dropped in. And all the same with these. These are just images made on Photoshop, and they're actually about that big. So if you click it, you can see that the button is actually that big. And that's to give you the ability to touch it when you're touching it. So each of these is it's literally just a 2D button with some transparencies on so you can see through it. So it makes it look like it's not a 2D button, but it is. And then you grab that. So let me grab the AR one. And if you notice, that AR button right there is the graphic that it's on there, right? I can change it in different colors and stuff, but that's basically that texture there is that what that looks like. And let me just see. Let me find the AR button texture so I can show you what that actually does. Slide button textures, here we go. It's not there. Controllers. Texture button, left side. Sorry, I don't know where they put it in here. AR, there it is. AR button, there it is. So AR button textures here. So let me delete it. So you'll see see now it's got there's nothing on it. So we added this texture, and what the texture does is allows it to be gray. So it has kind of an off state. So when you click it, it actually goes white gray. So it looks like an actual toggle button. Now in behind this is also up in here. So you've got the information about it. So it should be a very small file, 1 kilobyte. There's no animation in it. There's the color and everything. And then here is the position of it. So if I wanted to move it, I could move it, right? And then I can undo up here if I get lost. Oops, redo. So there it is there. And then what I really want to do is up in here, I've got my code. And there's the AR button controller. And if I delete that, then the AR function of this is dead. But if I go over here and I go to AR button controller, I can just drag it. And if I know that's what I need, I drag it and boom, now that button does AR. It triggers AR. Now, what does that code actually do? It's a great question. You right click here, edit. And now right in the editor, you have your full JavaScript code. And this is the code to make AR. So turn AR button on, off, what object you want to go into AR. And so this is, if you're familiar with JavaScript, then you'll feel right at home. If you're not, what we're doing with these now is when you click this button, when you click edit like this, when you're in this edit mode, it's also going to give you a bunch of parameters. So it's going to say, what do you want to affect? How do you want to affect? There'll be some sliders there so that you can actually change the AR. The AR button probably wouldn't be changed, but let's say, for example, the world controller. So say you wanted to have it spin in and everything was a little different, right? So you could start to then have a slider for all of this. This is, again, a bad one, but it gets really, these are all your parameters. But if you don't know how to do any of this, it's going to be daunting. So what we're doing is we're making a library of these code snippets, and the library will explain what they do, and then have a little menu, a little slider or buttons here to control this. So without having to go into the code, you can actually get in and just see a visual representation that will look similar to this, but with basically like this with sliders and stuff. Okay. Any questions about the code and how JavaScript works?
As far as I know that as well, they use A-frame, which is HTML, JavaScript, and kind of like a CSS, all the web language. So can you do like the web language as well, like A-frame, use A-frame?
I don't understand the question. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like can you use like a HTML or other web language or just JavaScript?
Just JavaScript. But you can embed, once you publish it, like I said, your HTML code is here to drop it in any website. So you can embed it anywhere you want. But no, it's JavaScript for editing only.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you import external JavaScript libraries?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
That's
you would import your JavaScript like you would import anything else. And then when you grab it, I don't have any on this one, unfortunately, but I'm just going to show you the process. What you would do is you would go import, add a new folder, or maybe there's controllers there. So we already have a folder there. So under controllers, I would add maybe a new button down here and be like, okay, I want my controller. So this is controller 5, whatever. And then I'd start, and I would import that And now under controller 5, I would have my piece of code and I could drag and drop it. So yes, and you can also cut and paste into it. So you can go like this, and you can just cut and paste in here. So you can grab it from whatever other program you want, drop it in here. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. So that when you render the project, it will embed your JavaScript with the JavaScript from other libraries, right? It will
Correct.
render everything. Right?
Correct. And I'll show you, let me get out of this. I'll show you the Mercedes. There we go. The Mercedes has some animations in it. With the shoe has no animations, so it's kind of hard to show you what the animations do. So give me a second here. How are we doing for time, Julie? I just want to make sure we're good. Is everybody okay? All right. And I don't know. Yeah, I was afraid of this. I think because of, let me stop sharing my screen and I'll reload that because it won't load when Zoom is up for some reason.
We've talked a lot about this application for education, and then you brought in a little bit about automotive already. I'm wondering what's, from current interaction, which industry has shown the most interest out of your portfolio so far?
So are you asking which types of companies?
Yeah, which sector have you seen people like want to adopt faster?
We launched this product 2 weeks ago. I'll let you know in about a month.
Okay. That's a good answer.
All right, so this is loaded.
But I think to answer your question on which industry is showing the most interested in using this technology, I think,
retail.
Yeah, retail. Well,
so it kind of falls into
interested.
Two extremes. Yeah. It falls into two extremes. You have marketing stuff, where it's marketing stuff like this, and stories, and maybe Spider-Man climbing up my wall in AR and stuff like that. The stuff you see on Eighth Wall, the marketing stuff, that's on one side. Then you have like full engineering stuff. So HoloLens stuff, where I'm looking at a machine and I need the exact measurements of it. I'm doing digital twins of factories. I need to use AR for remote collaboration for industrial applications. There's a company called Scope AR, Upskill, RealWear. These are kind of like industrial applications in factories and in field. And then there's this kind of middle ground where people haven't really started to use this technology for training, for e-commerce, that type of thing. And so that's where we sit. We sit in that kind of commerce, training, marketing. And the reason why we sit in there is because the same model that you see here, this Mercedes, can be used for marketing. I can add marketing experience to it, or I could add a training experience. The whole thing could be a training experience for your staff.
Mainly for the front end of the dealership side, though, right? In terms of
it could be for the engineering side, but mainly on that side, yeah.
Right.
Because the engineering people would want like exploded views of things like that. Like for example, so the engineering team may use this instead of you've got this one here where it's a Mercedes and it's maybe for the marketing team, right? But this one over here is the engine. Maybe, for the engineering team, they want to see inside of it, right? They want to have a discussion about this and they can collaborate on this type of thing.
Yep.
But I mean, this engine could also be used to help sell it.
Yep.
Right? You could explain the different features of the engine to the client, kind of thing.
Yeah. This would be really important for third-party suppliers too.
Yeah. And I mean, like, if you want to get in here and you can really start to change things. See, look, right. I just took the whole thing away. Right. So it's an interesting platform that lets you kind of do anything. So rather than us trying to pigeonhole our platform into one thing, we want to just let people have the ability to do it themselves. And I don't know why I keep losing. This is part of our 10-day sprint. We realized that there's a bug in there that when you change the normals over here, when you change the metalness and stuff, it deleted the texture altogether. We have no more rims.
It looks really nice still. So what's your current needs in terms of like manpower and staffing to scale up?
For us, we're just basically growing based on our customers. So, but our customers are huge. So it's one of those things that, you know, we launched it 2 weeks ago. We had already built kind of a huge community. So we've been doing projects. We've done over 100 projects over the last 5 years, 7 world firsts. So we've kind of put ourselves in a position where companies are coming to us now. They're coming to us with problems and saying, how do you solve this? So, you know, we have a medical company who, you know, has a machine that they normally send somebody around the world to train on every single machine, and now they can't. So what do you do? So we have to create a 3D thing, and nobody has VR headsets, so we can't use that. So it's, you know, solve this problem using the device in everybody's hand, and that's what we're doing. We're building a whole learning experience around.
So it sounds very one-off consulting style.
For now, but what the long-term goal is to you know, you do the consulting, you build it for them. But as you see, it's not that hard to build these things. So what we're doing is we're recording as we build it, so that we can now pass it over back to the customer and say, here's the whole training, you know, around what we built for you. This is how we built it. Your web teams can now build anything they want. Like, not hard.
Right.
So we really want to work with our customers on these one-off deals to create value. And each time we do that, so for example, the Mercedes, it's a full configuration for a car. Now it can be used for any vehicle. It can be used for any object, really. So that template can now be used by anybody. So once you build one template, one product for a customer that solves a problem, that template can be used for anybody. And that's our whole ethos here, is that the templates are going to be really what drives this thing. Because if I come in not knowing anything, but the template gets me to about 90% there, and my web guys can get it done.
So it sounds like a lot of, or it even looks like a lot of the backend engineering work and visualizations pretty mature, and you're looking a lot towards the marketing and sales right now.
Oh, we're in full on scale mode. Like we launched our beta 2 months ago. We ran the beta, worked out as many kinks as we can. We're on a 10-day sprint right now, which finishes on Friday, next Friday. And that will be all the bugs that we know of that are within our realm to fix. They'll be completely fixed. And there's a bunch of cool stuff that we're adding in there. So that's like, we do these, you know, kind of 60 or 30-day sprints. And then we just like hammer all so right built into the system, actually, I never showed that, but let me show you quick. Right built into the system here. Can you see where I am? Up here at the top, there's a feedback button. When you click it, it gives you general requests or errors.
Oh,
so you can
very
get in there
nice.
and then, you know, say whatever you want, right? And then when you submit that, it goes right into our Jira.
Oh,
So it populates our Jira so that the developers are like, hey, a new thing came in.
Another Kanban card comes up, yeah.
And then we meet once a week and we go over, you know, all the requests and, you know, what is priority. And because some things aren't priority at all. Like, you know, there maybe one person has some weird thing, but bugs obviously are priority. But we also publish our entire features set and roadmap on the website. So it's metaverse.com/features. So everything you saw in that presentation is here listed, web-based end-to-end, deploy anywhere, OS browser agnostic, coding, blah, 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 all the, you know, all the different features, they're all there. But then the roadmap is at the bottom. So this is what we just finished our big sprint. This is the next kind of quarter sprint. And then this is Q4.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's all real time. So we meet about once a week and just rejig this to make sure it's right.
Do you operate remotely with your employees, or do you?
Yep. We are all over the world. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. We were all, well, I mean, we had an office until COVID hit. We were about to sign a lease for another office and we didn't, thank God. But now we all live very close to each other here in Toronto, but we all work from home now. And yeah. And then we have an office in Dallas, and we've got I shouldn't say an office, a representative in Dallas. And we've got Alex, who lives in near Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, we're a distributed team, and and one of our graphics teams, the graphics department of our team, they live in Mexico. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We're all in the same time zone, within 1 hour though. 1 hour either way.
Right.
Yeah.
How would one get involved with MetaVRse?
What do you want to do?
I don't know. I'm just I think spitballing right now. I'm trying to figure out because I am currently transitioning. But I could definitely take this offline and maybe do a one-on-one.
Sure, let's do that. Okay. Yeah, we have an affiliate program where passionate people about the industry. A lot of people are evangelists, and they're out there, you know, evangelizing the technology, but they don't have a product to go and say, here's how to do it quickly. You know, it's like, here's how great it is, and they're like, yeah, but I got to go to school for 6 months to learn Unity. And that's usually where the conversation stops, or it'll get greenlit from the top of the company, and they'll go, yeah, the CEO, go make this happen. And they're like, well, it's going to be a couple $100,000 and take 8 weeks just to get a prototype. And you're like, so
yeah,
we need to just really make it easy, fast, simple, and shareable. It has to be work on every device.
100%. Yeah.
And eventually work on crazy devices like this. Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Julie, for your great presentation as well. Thank you, everyone, and Dominique for hosting. Jonathan, you can here. I'll give you my email.
No, it was Justin.
Justin, sorry.
Justin.
Who can I talk to, Julie, or talk to you, Alan?
Either one. It's Julie at MetaVRse or Alan at MetaVRse.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. But you will not get a response till after July 5th. I'm going on vacation. We're going on vacation.
Oh, we're
just going up north, but we're getting out of here. We're out of here.
Great. Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I definitely need to reset sometimes.
Yeah, I got to do it. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of the sunny days. So very, very much for your time. You can sign up right now for free at engine.metaverse.com. And if you can sign up for a free account there. As a matter of fact, the billing system isn't even built in yet. Go nuts.
And I think just to kind of wrap up the conversation too, just in, you can see the engaging ways that you can use 3D with your brand. You have to come up with a story with, what do the animations look like? What is the game? What is that reward system that you're going to put in so that people will engage with your brand and want to know more about it or want to purchase it, or can visualize seeing it in their space.
I'll put it this way, that solar system, go play with it on your phone and go drop it in AR in your field, in your backyard. It's mesmerizing. And I mean, that was built for 2 guys. It took 2 weeks to build that full end to end. And it actually has a lot more in there that we haven't turned on yet. But like that, if we can start to build experiences that get people excited about, working with a brand and diving in, I think there's a really huge opportunity. And then that same technique that we use to get people excited about brands, I want to see us get people excited about education. Education should be as exciting as a Netflix movie and a AAA game. So.
Yeah, recently I am developing a game and I sent to you guys.
I love it.
And then, yeah, I mean, I asked a bunch of friends and some of them think that, it's the rocket launch is kind of like a 2D overlay with 3D. And they want me to find out a game system, just like a rewarding system. And then why, because after they play it, they just say, oh, I'm done. And then they told me that, how can I create something that keep people coming back? So I was thinking about, why not I create a story? So right now I'm writing a game story, which is like a hamster, a little hamster going to space. Sweet. And then trying to find out a cure, because the cure from Proxima Centauri B, getting some cures from that weird twin sister of Earth, and get some elements come back. So I'm thinking about because I have I know how to use Unity. So what I'm thinking is that I use Unity app as a base, and then I use WebXR as different, holodeck, right? When you click the button, you want to go to another world, you enter to another web page. And you have different web page. It's just like a big system, which headquarter is in Unity. And then all the browsers is different world. Yeah, you go to different world.
This, I'm in a different world.
Yes.
But what you don't realize, there's a hamster in my world.
You're amazing. Yeah.
Space hamsters.
Yeah, the hamsters. Yes.
I love it.
Yes, you get it. And then what I'm thinking is that this types of setting not only can reduce the size of the app, but also those web page can live in different companies' website. So what I'm thinking about, maybe I can build a game virtual world on top of the reality. So for example, like I don't want to say that, but maybe SpaceX or NASA, they want to have some small games, right? Promotional games and educational games. And then maybe Starshine is kind of like the game app, and we approach to those space company, and we kind of offer them like a pretty good price for making a small games. Not only it connects to our game system, and then but also they the individual companies, they can use the web page to promote the game as well. So it's not only separate. But
this is why, you know, we're really excited, because where we stop, Unity and Unreal pick up, and I think there's like this continuum. So we can show things on websites and very easily, and then it gets people excited. Well, what's more? What's the next thing?
Yeah.
And then they naturally move to, okay, well, I want to make something more complicated, and I build in Unity, and then they're like, well, wait a second, I see this photorealistic stuff over in Unreal. I want to do that. So it's this you know, continual growth of the industry, and I think there's room enough for everybody.
Dominique, I think you should call it Bob and Doug's Excellent Adventure and use 2 hamsters. Yeah.
I mean, I'm really excited about that, and I love learning all the coding, and I know that 3D is kind of the next step for every designer, including like graphic designer, UX UI designer. We all need to kind of step to the 3D world, because I feel that 2D sometimes it's hard to explain a lot of things. Even like in Zoom meeting, we can see like you and me, and it feels like I still can be bothered by my reality, right? I still don't feel immersed inside this meeting. Sometimes kind of get disrupt. But I believe like in the future, everything will be upgraded by adding like Z space. So so I'm pretty excited about this.
That's great.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, does anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
Hello,
go ahead.
It's Gonzalo again. You said that you support multi-user. So how do you, for instance, have multi-user looking at the same scene, like the solar system with different phones? Is that it?
So in this particular case, it would be user-based. So you have one facilitator and multiple users. So the users would have autonomy to move around, zoom in, zoom out, but going from page to page, they will be controlled by the facilitator. So that's one form of collaboration. The other form...
sorry to interrupt, but the object will be physically attached in the same place to every user? For in AR mode, for instance?
No, in AR mode, you drop it. So basically what it does is it'll put a little disc on the ground, and wherever that disc is where your experience is anchored to.
But you can share that anchor to the other users?
The other user doesn't matter, it's individual. You wouldn't share anchors because it's different, right? Mine may be on a table, yours is in a field. But you have
I think what he's asking is, like, if as a teacher and I spin it like this, are all the students going to see me spin it like this?
It can be designed
that's
both
what you're
ways.
asking.
Of course, you can design it so that you can facilitate what they're looking at in any given time. It can be built however you want it, absolutely. So ours is more, the student has the ability to look in, look out, look around things, but we can draw their attention to the next scene, and the next scene comes up, and you always have them looking. They can walk around and look at it, but it's the next scene. So it's, you know, to put it
but for instance, in a room, you can anchor the object to everyone see the object in that place, or each one has to anchor in the
I see what you're saying. Oh, we didn't design it that way, but I think you could do that. Julie, add that to the notes. Anchoring one object and having multiple users be able to pan around it in one space, or multiple users in one space. So you could even have groups of 2 or 3. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. That's a great question.
Okay. because if you are doing a class experience, you want to that the solar system stays in the same place in the room for every student.
I totally understand.
So you almost need a lock button, like a facilitator lock on that AR.
Niantic does this, and I don't know what tech they use, so just put a note. We'll look into it.
Okay. And another thing is, how do you? I see that you share with the experiences with the QR code, right? So everyone has to scan the QR code in their mobile devices or in their devices. Yeah.
There's a link in the chat.
And if you are with an headset, how do you do it?
Right now, we don't support the headsets. That's coming in Q4.
Okay.
But it'll be just through the browser as well. So you'll just type in the browser link. We'll make a really small one. So you type in whatever it is, very short one, and it'll open it up as a 2D screen in your browser, in your Quest or your HoloLens or Magic Leap, whatever. And there'll be a little button at the bottom that says VR, and you click it, and now you're inside of it.
Okay, so you don't have the entering VR mode yet.
No, not yet. No.
But you can create, you just can't enter into it.
If you are really keen on that and you want to pay the engineering fee, then we're happy to expedite that.
Of course. My question is because we are developing also a distribution, content management system and distribution system for headsets. So we are developing a platform where you can configure the URLs or the links, and when you click in the button, all the links will open automatically in every device, in multiple devices.
Oh, very cool. All right. Very cool.
Okay, we can also talk about that.
About that. That might be a solution.
Yeah,
for sure.
So you can just configure the link, and then the Firefox Reality or any other browser will open automatically that link in all the devices.
I like it. Cool.
Great.
Let's look at it and see if it'll work.
So
awesome.
we can schedule some presentation.
What's
it's in not released yet. It's XR-Man. Okay, and not only supports WebXR, but also 360 video or any app that you have. You can run the app automatically or run the app on multiple devices at the same time.
Cool. Can you do me a favor? My email is in the chat. Can you just email it to me?
Yeah, of course. I just copy paste into my notes.
Perfect. Great.
All right.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate taking the time on your Saturdays, and it's wonderful. Our contact information is there. I'm happy to answer questions and help in any way I can. So if there's anything we can do for you, let me know.
Yeah, and I know some of you are mentioned. I think all of you are from education sector. So, we focus both on business, and I'm doing some work on education. I'll be speaking at iLearn this week on Monday afternoon, and registration is free. So if you're looking to learn more about this technology, iLearn this week is going to be a great place to be. I think Collision is this week too. So
I wanted to also just let everybody know the reason why we kind of straddle the line on education and commerce and marketing and training. The technologies that we build on for our clients, they cost a lot of money to build these things, an exorbitant amount of money to build these solutions. But once they're built, the template's there, we can give it away to education. So as long as we keep our customers happy, and they're trust me, they're very happy, we can then funnel the technology down and give it away to students and make sure that everybody has access to that technology. So that's really our kind of modus operandi for doing that, because education, I'm sure you can make money through the education system, but I'd rather just make it through enterprise and help. All right, guys, I got to call it a day. I'm going to go see some sunshine. Bye, everybody. Flying hamsters in space.
Yes, that's the best. I post the image on LinkedIn. You can take it. I think this is cool because I took the screenshot that you look at the hamster.
Awesome.
It's like you're talking with Mr. That's cool.
All right, guys. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dominique, for having me. And it was great to meet you, Gonzalo, Rick, and Justin as well. Stay in touch and
bye, guys.
Let us know how we can help further. And hopefully you can try out our MetaVRse engine yourself, and let's see what you guys can create.
Yeah, cool. Sounds
This
great.
will be fun.
Yes,
Thank you.
I will test it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody.
Bom
Thanks,
dia.
Dominique, for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Take care.
Yeah,
Bye,
take
everyone.
care. Bye-bye.